Alright, here's the practice sig test. 84 animals, so there's 84 of them, and if you added all the sheep and the turkeys together, that would be the total amount. And then I have legs. Well, sheep have 4 legs, turkeys have 2 legs, so that's where the equation comes from. And then I multiplied this one by -2 to get this equation. So the t's would cancel out. And then I just solved it, and there you go. I multiplied the top one by -1. It just changed all the signs. So the y's would cancel out. Combine like terms, and you solve it. Don't forget to plug it back in from the y. Elimination. I multiplied this one by 2, this one by 3, so the x's would cancel out. You could multiply that one by 4 and that one by 6, and it works also. I play with smaller numbers when I do it. X's are gone. Gives me 1y and a -4. Plug it in. There you go. Find the equation of the line. So that reminds me to write y equals mx plus b. I found the m first by taking the y's and subtract them. So it's -20 minus a -28, which makes it plus. So that makes it an 8. And then subtract the x's. 9 minus 5 is 4. That gives me 2. Plug it in. I plugged in one of the points, an x and a y. X, y. Doesn't matter which one I pick. Plug it in, solve, and I get -38. And there's my equation. Plug it in. I know the slope. Boom. Plug it right in. I know a point. There's an x and a y. Plug it in. And then solve, and you get your y-intercept. And you have your equation then. Remember, you find an equation. If the y-coordinate is 32, so the y is 32, what would the x be? That's what they're asking. Plug in 32 for the y, solve, I added 4, multiplied by the reciprocal, and that's how I got the -60. Didn't ask you to write it as a point, but if you did write it as a point, -60 would give you out 32. Find the equation. So I'm thinking of y equals mx plus b. Parallel tells me I'll know the slope. It's going to be the same. And then I plugged in an x and a y, x and a y, x and a y. Solve it, and there's your equation. Perpendicular means the opposite reciprocal. So this is slope is -2/3. So the opposite would be a positive, and the reciprocal would be 3/2. Then I plugged in the x and the y, solved, and there you go. Factor. Here's our trick. This is our second trick, the difference of two squares. So 3x, 3x. 49, 49 gives you 7 and 7. One's positive, one's negative. Here's another difference of two squares. That's a square. Perfect square, that's a perfect square. So you take the square root of it, you get 4x, 4x, 3 and 3. Those are the patterns we looked at on Wednesday. The other pattern we looked at is if there's a 1 in front of the x squared, then it's two numbers that multiply together to be that guy, and add together to be that guy. So 8 times -5 is -40, and add them together you get 3x. Always look for a common factor. They both have a 8 involved, so you pull the 8 out. So 8 times x is 8x. 8 times -4 is 32. Another common factor one. Pull out the common factor. 3x. 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times -2 is -6x. There's our 1 in front of the x squared, so we can use our two numbers that multiply together to be that guy. Add together to be that guy. Those multiply together to be -48. Those add together to be the -2. So there's my factors. All right, good luck on the test tomorrow.